Jake Plays Baseball, and today I have a very special interview video with Ryan Lavarnway with the Miami Marlins. I hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, this is Jake Plays Baseball, and today I'll be interviewing Ryan Lavarnway with the Miami Marlins. He's a catcher.
Hello.
How are you doing with the stay-at-home order, and how much do you miss baseball?
I'm doing well. I started a work at home, work out with me catching group on Facebook, which is keeping me busy every day. And then people post videos of themselves doing the drills and just ask questions. So I have a lot of time interacting with people on that every day. And I've been hanging out with my nephew.
Cool. Out of all sports, why baseball and why catching?
Well, my dad always played baseball. I was good at it right away. I played basketball in Little League too, but I wasn't as good at that. And catcher, I guess, when I was 7 years old, I was the only kid on the team that wasn't afraid to try it. And I took to it. So everyone likes doing something they're good at.
Yeah. Do you have any hobbies besides baseball?
Yes, I like bowling.
What is your highest score in bowling?
My high score is 256. Not as good as Mookie Betts, but pretty good.
What's Mookie Betts?
He has multiple 300s in his life. He could be a professional bowler if he wasn't so darn good at baseball.
What what was your favorite team growing up, and what player did you look up as a kid?
Growing up, I grew up in Los Angeles, so I loved the Dodgers, and I loved Mike Piazza. He was the catcher on the Dodgers when I was young. I also loved Ken Griffey Jr. and Chipper Jones.
Have you ever met those people, like Chipper Jones or?
I met Chipper Jones when I played for the Braves, and that was pretty cool. And he signed a ball for me, and we hung out. The other two guys haven't had the pleasure yet.
You are currently in Colorado, right?
Yes.
Where do you live when you are playing during the season?
So you end up renting a place wherever you go. So for spring training, we rent a house for 2 months. Some people rent apartments, some people rent houses, some people stay in a hotel. And then when the season starts, you rent a place for 5 or 6 months. And then if you get traded or called up to the big leagues or sent down, then you have to figure out what to do with that place and rent another place. So sometimes I'm paying rent in 3 different places and have my house here in Colorado. It's kind of a mess sometimes.
I've been told that catchers aren't the best hitters, but you set the Ivy League all-time career home run record. You've had 25-game hitting streak. You were the first Red Sox catcher to homer in his first start as catcher. What would you say to critics who say that catchers aren't good hitters?
I think that a lot of times catchers aren't good hitters because they have so much responsibility defensively. And it's such a physical toll and a mental toll to make sure that the pitcher does his best and that you do all your stuff defensively and then you try to hit. So I think it's probably true that most catchers aren't good hitters because they have so much other things that they're in charge of.
What was it like to hit a home run against the Green Monster?
Well, I only hit one homer over the Green Monster, and they actually called it a double on the field, so I had to stop at second because it bounced back, and then they did the replay. I didn't even know if it went over myself because I hit it and I was running, and then I saw it back on the field. So they checked the replay, and I got to finish the home run. So that was cool, but I would have liked much better to hit one way over it and got to draw it all the way around.
I showed my mom that YouTube video today. As a professional athlete, how do you deal with criticism on and off the field?
Well, most of the time you have to ignore it because if you consider the source, sometimes people are criticizing you from their couch that never played high school baseball, or sometimes they're criticizing you and it's just not really a fair criticism. A lot of times people talk about how I'm such a slow runner, for example. And compared to a lot of professional baseball players and professional athletes, yes, I am very slow, but compared to the average person, I'm not that slow because baseball players are some of the best athletes in the world and other professional athletes are. So the comparison level, especially between major leaguers and AAA, the talent level is so close and the bar is so high that some people I think forget, and they get so caught up in the moment that they forget that criticism they're criticizing human beings. So you just have to take it with a grain of salt.
How do you shake off errors you make and continue playing the game?
I don't think you have a choice. The game goes on whether you want to go on or not. So if you're still thinking about the error, you're living in the past and setting yourself up to fail again. So you have to move on. You have to go to the next thing. It's either sink or swim. You have to move on, or else you're going to fail again.
How did you learn to shake it off from high school to college to the majors?
I think yeah, a practice makes perfect. You're gonna fail, and you're gonna fail again and again and again, especially in this game. So the more you fail, the more you learn how to deal with it. I think someone put it to me in a way that made a lot of sense. Is that everybody knows that you're not trying to mess up. So if you mess up, some of us feel like we really gotta act like we're even more upset than we even are, so that everybody knows we didn't do it on purpose. But everybody knows we didn't try to strike out. Everyone knows we didn't try to throw it away or boot a ball. So if you now are acting so upset, that's selfish in and of itself, because now you're just trying to play it up and you're trying to play this role of, oh, I'm too good to do that, or oh, I'm so mad because I didn't want to. Everybody knows that already. So just move on. And the selfless thing to do, the good teammate thing to do, is to be ready for the next play and show everyone that it's not going to happen again.
What is your favorite thing about catching?
My favorite thing about catching is that I'm involved in every pitch of the game. I get to think about helping the pitcher be his best. And even on games, you're not going to get a hit every single game. On so games where I don't get a hit, I still feel like I help the team win.
What has been your best memory behind the plate?
My best memory behind the plate. That's a good question. I've had some good ones. I like throwing guys out. Tag plays at home are always cool. There was one play when we were in Minnesota where there was a man on third. Ryan Dumit, the other team, the Twins catcher at the time, was on third base. I was on the Red Sox, and there was a short fly ball into shallow right, and Dustin Pedroia caught it, and they tried to tag up on a fly ball to the second baseman, and Dustin Pedroia one hopped it to me, and I slid to block the plate, and Ryan Dumas slid into me at the same time, and I remember he knocked me over. I did a somersault backwards, and it was a third out of the inning, and I got so excited I like spiked the ball. So that was a pretty cool play.
So, last fall, my first travel ball tournament, there was a pop fly, I think, and so they threw it home, but the guy on third was coming home, and I got trucked.
Did you hold on to it?
Yeah.
Doesn't that feel cool? Yeah, heck yeah, it did.
Is it like transferring to different teams?
It's very weird, because you try to get to know your teammates, and you end up being buddies, and you're going through all this stuff together, and you try to win for the team, and then all of a sudden you're on a new team, and they've been going through all this stuff together for months and months, and sometimes even years, and you're the new guy, and they don't really know you or trust you yet, and you don't really know them or trust them yet, but all of a sudden you're thrown into the fire. For instance, in 2019, I started in AAA with the Yankees, and then I went to the major leagues with the Reds, and then I went to AAA with the Reds, and then with 4 days left until the end of the year, 4 days, I got traded to the team we were playing against. So I just went to the other locker room, and they were like, "Dude, you're in the wrong place." I was like, "No, I'm on your team now." And everyone was like, "What?" And the other catcher was panicking because he didn't know what the plan was. Even though the plan was they needed him in the big league, so I was going to take his spot on the AAA team. And then that team ended up winning the AAA championship, which was totally weird because I didn't even have a home uniform until the game 3 of the playoffs. How weird is that?
How did they like? Wait, was it in the same game, or like was it like you were already prepared on the team you were on, then you had to go over like in like the very beginning of the game, or how did you?
So so it was a night game, so it was a 7:05 game, and I get to the field for those games at like 1 or 1:30. And right when I walked in the locker room, the coach said, "Hey, this is what happened. We ended up trading you to the Indians, and they're assigning you to AAA. So grab your stuff and go to the other locker room." So there was a few hours before the game still.
A lot of players transfer through minor and major.
A lot of guys get called up and down, yes. Um, I think 50% of players that play in the major leagues for one day never get a full year of service time. So even half of the guys that make it don't even make it for 1 year. So it's kind of common to go up and then go back down. And these guys that you see get these major contracts and stay around for 10 years at a time, those guys are really, really special and pretty rare.
You played youth, high school, college, minor, and MLB. Is it everything you thought it would be?
Yes, I think getting up to the big leagues, especially when I got called up with the Red Sox, because that's a pretty pro organization. They do things the right way. It was one of the things that you expect to be great, and it still is better than you expect.
How did your parents react whenever you called them and told them you're going to the Red Sox?
So my big league debut story was a little crazy. David Ortiz got hurt, and Kevin Youkilis also got hurt, but they didn't know how badly. So I was playing in AAA Rhode Island, Pawtucket, and I had to fly to Kansas City the next day. And my AAA coach said both Kevin Youkilis and David Ortiz are going to see the doctor in the morning, and if they can't play, you're starting. But if they're both okay, then you're just going to turn around and fly back to Rhode Island and not me in the majors. So you're not allowed to tell anybody, and we don't know what's going to happen. So of course I told everybody anyway, but nobody flew to Kansas City because they didn't know what was going to happen. So when I landed in Kansas City, it was maybe 3 or 4 o'clock, and I called to see what was going to happen. They said, "Okay, Kevin Youkilis is hurt, so you're going to start for him. You're starting DH today." Um, and when I called everyone else, everyone was just kind of like, "Okay, well then how the heck are we supposed to get to Kansas City in the next 3 hours?" Um, and they were all kind of being crazy about trying to get on flights. So nobody made it really for that first game except for my one friend from college, Stefan, because went to the airport and just waited for me to call him at the airport. But everyone else was at home waiting for the call, and they ended up being there the next day.
What is it like for you playing in the majors?
What is it like? Well, now it's my job. I've been up and down from the majors for 8 out of the last 9 years. And I know that a lot of people don't get the chance to do eight different seasons in the major leagues. I think I'm pretty lucky, and I think I've earned a lot of different opportunities for different reasons. So I know that every time it might be my last chance. So I have to play really good every time I get the opportunity to. So there's a lot of pressure, but it's also a lot of fun.
Why did you decide to do the catcher clinics during the quarantine times?
I decided to do the catching clinics or the workout videos because I saw John Legend do a free concert on Instagram, and I was like, well, that's pretty cool. He has this huge talent, and he's sharing it with people in a time where everyone's at their house and they're looking for things to watch. And I thought it could be a cool thing if 20 or 30 catchers wanted to get online and work out with me.
And it's got way bigger than I ever thought. Now it's almost up to 3,000 members on 4 or 5 continents, all working out with me and sending me videos. And it kind of grew into its own thing, more than I even meant it to. But I think the initial idea was just to have some fun and share a little bit of my knowledge and experience with people.
I really enjoy the catcher clinics because it's like whenever I can't play baseball, I can still be playing baseball here at my house and
Yeah, well,
still
I'm glad you
learn.
like it.
Why do you think it's important to have youth sports in local communities?
Wow, that's a big question for a little guy. I think I think youth sports. Well, first of all, it provides opportunities for everyone, regardless of talent level. There's somewhere that you can play. I also think it's good to build community and get you to be friends with and teammates with people in your area.
How did playing youth sports impact your childhood?
Good question. When I was in kindergarten, my teacher said that I didn't share very well and recommended that I start team sports. So that's when my parents first signed me up for T-ball. And then how did it impact my life? Then every family vacation we ever took was to where the tournament was. and that's what all our weekends and all our free time was around my baseball. So it kept me busy and it kept me out of trouble.
That's how it is for me also. You ever thank that teacher?
I don't know that I have spoken to Mrs. Enfield in forever. You know what? My mom ran into her at the grocery store when I was with the Red Sox at one time, and they talked.
You attended Yale University for one of the best schools in the nation. How important is academics along with sports?
I think academics are more important than sports. Sports, maybe not more important, but equally at least, because sports can teach you about life and fairness and working as a team and dealing with failure and all those other things. But being a good student also teaches you more than just what you're learning in class, you know, the math and the history, but it also teaches you how to work on your own, how to take a lesson and learn it and make tasks, complete tasks that you necessarily don't want to do, not because they're fun, but because they've been assigned to you, and understanding that everybody has a job, everyone has responsibilities. Um, but as far as student athletes getting through high school, if you get good grades, it's going to open up lots of opportunities for you to play college baseball, and playing baseball can open opportunities for you for school as well. So doing both at the same time is really important. And 99.9% of people that play little league baseball are not going to play pro. You're going to end up being pro in something else. So if you have good grades and you get into a good college, it's going to help you with that.
You lived in California. Why did you pick Yale University?
I went to a high school showcase after my junior year at Stanford that required a 3.6 GPA or higher to even go to the showcase. So all of the best academic schools were there scouting players. And at the end of that showcase, I got recruited. And that's really the only showcase I got recruited from. And I got recruited to Yale, Harvard, Dartmouth, Cornell, and UC Davis. And that was it. So when I talked to the coaches and I visited a couple of the campuses, Yale was my favorite of those schools. What advice would you give to kids with big sports dreams?
I would say have fun, love what you're doing, play to win, play with your teammates, and don't worry about the dreams. They'll take care of themselves.
What was the best advice you ever received from coaches?
The best advice, I guess baseball wise, I had a coach that told me to hit the ball to right center more instead of pulling everything. And even now to this day, I still hit the ball to right center better than anywhere else.
Did you play rec baseball or did you play travel ball?
I played in my local pony league every season, spring and fall, and then I would make the all-star team, and the all-star team would go from there for the summer. And then I think when I was 12, we hired our first like paid coach and played club ball for when I was 12 and 13 until high school started.
Are you disappointed that the Olympics are aren't this summer, and they'll be next summer?
No, because I think it's the smart thing to do for safety, and also I'm hoping to play in the Olympics for Team Israel. So a year from now, I may be more available, whereas this summer I was playing for the Marlins. So it would have been a tough decision whether to leave the Marlins and play in Israel or stay with the Marlins. So if I was in the major leagues, then I didn't have a choice because you're not eligible for the Olympics. But if I was in the minor leagues, I would have had to make a decision.
Why Team Israel?
Because I'm Jewish. I have become a citizen of Israel this last off season, and USA is not even in the tournament yet, so easy choice.
That will be all today. Thank you for joining me.
You're welcome, buddy. Do your homework. Call a pitcher.
Okay,
All right. Thanks for doing this with me, bud.
you're welcome. Hey guys, this is Jake Plays Baseball, and today I have a very special interview video with Ryan Lavarnway with the Miami Marlins. I hope you guys enjoy. Hey guys, this is Jake Plays Baseball, and today I have a very special interview video with Ryan Lavarnway with the Miami Marlins. I hope you guys enjoy.